Welcome back. This is Answer Me This, part of the Fatherhood in Focus podcast. I'm Aidan, dad, host and founder of the Modern Fatherhood Club. Every week I'm going to ask you one uncomfortable question, not to shame you, but to sharpen you. This is about legacy, impact, and the man that your kids actually see when you walk into the room. The world is happy for you to just cope. We're here to help you choose. Choose how you show up, how you lead, and how you love. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast, hit subscribe on YouTube, and head over to the modernfatherhoodclub.com for any of our free resources. They're built to support you from those early, messy days right through to the years when they're shouting at you from across the room. All right, before you take a breath, this week we're talking the Modern Fatherhood Club. So we're going to navigate away from Answer Me This and a difficult question for you to answer. 1 week, we're just going to talk the importance of the Modern Fatherhood Club, what we stand for, so that you get a better feel for what's on offer. Next week, we'll be back with more questions. We will challenge you further. And if you're looking to reflect and you haven't caught some of our earlier episodes, use the questions to reflect. Take a step back. Take a moment to pause. Focus your energy on where you can go next. The impact that you're having, the influence that you want to have on your family. This is the Modern Fatherhood Club. I want you to understand what we stand for, what our message is, and how we can help you. Thank you as always for listening. Let's get into it. Every father remembers the moment you realise that life is no longer about you. Your decisions change. Your priorities change. Your responsibilities, they multiply overnight. And suddenly, there is this quiet pressure that sits on your shoulders. A pressure to provide, to protect, to lead, to get it right. Because whether we say it out loud or not, most fathers carry the same belief. Our children deserve the very best version of us. But here's the truth that very few people talk about. Most fathers are trying to become that man, without guidance, without preparation, and without support. And that gap, that silence around the role of the father, is exactly why the Modern Fatherhood Club exists. We exist to advance one conversation that society has largely ignored. The conversation about the role of dad. Over the past few decades, we've built an entire system to support mothers through pregnancy, birth, and early parenting. Healthcare services, community groups, education, support networks. And rightly so. But when it comes to fathers, there's often an uncomfortable silence. Men are expected to adapt instantly, return to work, perform, provide, and somehow manage the emotional and psychological shift of fatherhood. And they're expected to do it quietly. We exist to change that. Because fathers deserve preparation too. They deserve education. They deserve community. And when fathers grow stronger, families grow stronger. Father today, it looks very different than it did a generation ago. Modern fathers, they want to be present. We want strong relationships with our children. We want to support our partners. We want to raise emotionally resilient kids. But we're also navigating one of the most demanding professional environments in modern history. Career pressure, financial responsibility, long working hours, constant expectations. And very few tools exist to balance it all. This collision between professional pressure and family responsibility is where many begin to struggle. Not because they lack commitment, but because they were never shown how to navigate it. And too often, they navigate it alone. I didn't create the Modern Fatherhood Club as a business idea. I created it because I needed it. From the outside, my life looked exactly how you might expect success to look. A partner I loved, 2 healthy children, a home, a career. But internally, I was exhausted, burned out, conflicted, and quietly questioning whether I was the father my children deserved. The hardest part of fatherhood isn't the sleepless nights. It's the internal pressure, the pressure to carry everything, the pressure to hold it all together, the pressure to never get it wrong. And when you carry that pressure long enough, without support, it starts to affect everything. Your health, your patience, your relationships, and your sense of self. So let me ask you something. How many fathers do you know who look like they have everything under control? A stable career, family life, responsibilities under control. Life is moving forward, but internally, they're exhausted, they're conflicted, they are questioning themselves at every turn. Fatherhood can be one of the most isolating experiences a man is ever going to face. You can be surrounded by people, friends, family, colleagues, and still feel like you're the only one carrying the weight. That silence is something that we must address because too many fathers are struggling behind closed doors. Over the past few years, working with fathers, I've noticed something interesting. The dads who thrive tend to operate around 3 key principles. Preparation over reaction, connection over isolation, presence over perfection. Preparation, it gives fathers clarity. Connection, well, it removes isolation. Presence reminds us that our children don't need flawless dads. They need engaged ones. And it's these 3 ideas that form the foundation of everything that we teach inside the Modern Fatherhood Club. Most people understand the external pressures that fathers face. Work responsibilities, financial pressure, career progression, long hours, but the internal pressures are often much heavier. The guilt, the doubt, the voice in your head asking whether you're doing enough. And many fathers carry that pressure silently. And when it goes unmanaged, it eventually begins to show up in ways that affect the entire family environment. Stress, short temper, emotional distance, disconnection. Not because fathers don't care, but because they're overwhelmed. So children are always watching. They are observing how we respond to challenges, how we manage stress, how we treat their mother, how we behave when things don't go our way. Whether we realize it or not, we are modeling adulthood. We are showing them what responsibility looks like, what resilience looks like, what leadership looks like. So the question every father should ask is simple. Who do my children see when they look at me? Every father carries values, beliefs about work, beliefs about responsibility, beliefs about family. But very few men ever take the time to define them clearly. And if we don't define our values intentionally, well, then life defines them for us. One of the most powerful things a father can do is become intentional about the kind of man that he wants to be. Because that identity becomes the blueprint that his children learn from. A father's influence inside a home is enormous, not just financially, emotionally, psychologically, developmentally. A father's presence shapes confidence. It shapes resilience. It shapes a child's sense of safety and belonging. But most men underestimate how powerful that role actually is. See, children, they don't need perfect fathers. They need safe fathers, present fathers, fathers who are emotionally available, fathers who are engaged. Small moments matter far more than grand gestures. A conversation, a hug, a moment of attention. These are all the things that build lifelong bonds. When a father becomes more present, everything changes. Homes become calmer, relationships, they become stronger. Children, they grow more confident. And fathers themselves rediscover purpose. The ripple effect of an engaged father is extraordinary. Yet society has never fully invested in helping men develop into this role. So every father eventually reaches a moment where he asks himself what actually matters. Career success means very little if the relationships at home are suffering. Provision means very little if presence disappears. The fathers who thrive, they learn to prioritize intentionally. The children are born with enormous potential, curiosity, confidence, energy. Our job as fathers is to protect that, to create environments where they feel safe enough to grow, confident enough to explore, resilient enough to handle adversity. That responsibility sits at the very heart of fatherhood. Modern life is full of noise, distractions, expectations, demands. But strong fathers, they learn to prioritize clearly. Family, health, presence, values. When those foundations are strong, everything else becomes easier to manage. See, two fathers can appear identical from the outside. Same job, same responsibilities, same family structure. But internally, they may be experiencing fatherhood differently. One feels supported and confident. The other feels isolated and overwhelmed. Support is what changes everything. Every father passes something down to his children. It's not just DNA, but values, standards, beliefs, character. Those are the things that children carry into adulthood. And they learn them not from what we say, but from what we consistently do. So modern fatherhood is leadership. Leadership inside the home, leadership in relationships, leadership in how we manage pressure, leadership in how we show up for our families every single day. That's the standard that we're looking to raise. But the Modern Fatherhood Club exists to support fathers through community, education, workshops, events, corporate partnerships, and honest conversations. Because the truth is simple. No father should have to ever navigate this role alone. So fatherhood is the greatest responsibility most men will ever carry. But it's also the greatest opportunity. It's an opportunity to shape lives, build families, create legacy. And the Modern Fatherhood Club exists to make sure fathers are prepared for that responsibility. Because the world, it doesn't just need good dads. It needs strong, present, prepared fathers. Remember, your kids, they don't need to see a perfect man. They just need to see an honest one. A dad who's willing to reflect, reset, and lead from the front, even when he's under pressure or coping more than he'd like to admit. If this episode landed for you, subscribe to the podcast, hit subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss any of our future episodes. And if you haven't yet, join us at the modernfatherhoodclub.com. There you are going to find our free resources and reflection questions, the ultimate new dad toolkit, the new dad recharge course, and our antenatal companion, an upcoming antenatal course for new and expecting dads. Look, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. But we're committed to leading with confidence, strength, openness, and heart. committed to giving our kids the version of us that's present, not just productive. Thank you for listening, for reflecting, and for doing the hard work. This has been Aidan. This is the Modern Fatherhood Club. This is Answer Me This, part of the Fatherhood in Focus podcast. Remember to lead from the front and never underestimate the power that you have over who they become. I'll see you in the next episode.